turn the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the fourth, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're out the dark, no LA, we the big spark. No fourth and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers. Go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour, sort of a manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, of course, check out the blog section as well. But most importantly, guys, share this live stream with a couple friends. Share this live stream with a couple friends, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. We do got the NFL Week 12 Power Rankings coming to you right here, right now. But before we get too carried away, we gotta welcome some people in the chat. We gotta welcome the peanut butter to my ladies. We have to welcome the man that his head is so shiny that it blinds everybody this side of the Mississippi. We have to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, John. Today. And of course, we got the other person on the toxic cable. We got the other person that thinks he is the NFL expert, and that is the one and only Mark D. Out in 1 second here. That's on me. That's on me. So audio input, add existing. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. You guys should be able to hear us now. So give us a thumb up if you can hear us now. Can you hear us now? Good. 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 If not, my bad. Let me go through each one here. Mark, I blame this on you.
What did I do? What did I do?
100% Mark's fault. 100% Mark's fault. So guys, give me a moment. Let me go around here. Let me add these. Of course, John's got to say no volume. All right, guys, let me know if you can hear me now. Let me know if you can hear me now. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Add that roadcaster there. Bada bing, bada boom. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good. Laura's audio sources. And bada bing, bada boom. All right, guys, so we should be able to hear everybody now. That is my bad. We're trying this new overlay. We're trying this new look. And I added everything, but I forgot to add the audio source. So thank you for Laura to say, hey, there's no sound. Jim's like, what the F, mate? And John says, no sound. So, guys, thank you for that. Thank you for the no sound applause there. So we definitely welcome you guys, too. And John says, yes, we can hear you now. We hear you now.
We are back.
Now. So we can hear them now. So I had to add an audio. I had to add my roadcaster mixer to every of the 6 scenes here. So we got 6 different scenes here, guys. We're trying a little thing different, new. So if you guys like it, let me know. Because, you know, Mark, I kind of like the look. Like, what do you think of the look?
Man, it looks slick. You know, looks like professional. You know, we're on it.
Yeah, we're on it. Hoffy, you got some thoughts usually. They're wrong, but you got some thoughts usually.
It's about as slick as my bald head.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty slick. It is pretty slick. So, guys, this is Man Hour, live, raw, uncut NFL talk. Week 12 NFL Power Rankings. And, guys, let's waste no time. Let's waste no time and jump right into it. And coming in at number 10, right off the bat, we do got the one and only, entering back in the top 10 is the Denver freaking Broncos. The Broncos are a team that I've been kind of like, right? This is a team that I've been questioning all season long, but coming off a beatdown of the Atlanta Falcons, this is rightfully so. They got to be put back in the top 10. The Atlanta Falcons are the 4th place in the NFC playoff picture. They are a team that could do some damage in the playoffs if the Falcons get hot at the right time. So, Mark, I know this is your team. I know you love yourself some Denver Broncos. So what do you think about the Denver Broncos coming in at number 10?
I knew you were going to do this. Like, you wanted my raw reaction. dude, we're not there. We're not number 10. We were like 13, 14. We're not number 10. I knew you were going to do this. Now we're going to lose the next 2 games. Thanks, Buck.
Yeah, and you are 100% welcome because the Las Vegas Raiders are on a 6-game losing streak. I said they go on an 8-game losing streak. So if your Broncos lose to the Raiders next weekend, Mark, we're going to have some issues. Hoffy, you are the man that is loving this ranking, loving the Denver Broncos at number 10. What do you think?
I hate to agree with Mark, but I mean, they lost their last 2 games before beating the Falcons 38-6. I mean, I think their only good win was week 2 at Tampa Bay. They do have an elite defense, 3rd, in yards per game at 289 yards per game, 7th in pass yards per game, 5th in, rushing yards per game. But on the flip side, offensively, they're middle of the pack at best. 23 in yards per game, 25th in passing yards, and 21st in rushing. So I don't think that, I think even 13 might be awfully generous. I think they're a middle of the pack team, around 15 or so. But, I like, you giving him the old Buck porking, because every time you put his team in the top 10, they easily drop pretty quickly.
So the one thing that is kind of been a theme on these power rankings the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, right, is, yeah, they're good, but they haven't played anybody. Yeah, they're good, but they haven't played anybody. The Denver Broncos might be the most tested team in these power rankings. Let's just be honest. They play the Seahawks week number 1. That is a playoff team. They play the Steelers week number 2. That is a playoff team. They play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a week 3. They can slide into the playoffs. Do not sleep on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quite yet. Yes, they're 4-6. Mike Evans is healthy. They can sneak in there. They play the Chargers, a playoff team. They play the Ravens, a playoff team. They play the Chiefs, a playoff team. They play the Atlanta Falcons, a playoff team. 7 games have been their playoff teams. So this is the most battle-tested, the battle-ready team out of all of them, sitting at 6-5. So I don't understand, Mark, why you do not like your Broncos up there at top 10. 7 playoff teams, and they're 500 versus those teams. So why not have them up there?
Don't get me wrong. I love that they're number 10. I love that they're considered number 10 in your eyes, in maybe other people's eyes, and that watch the league. I just hate that we get on this list and then we just like Hoff said, we downfall, and I just don't want us to downfall. I want us to keep going. We have some winnable games coming up. We have Las Vegas, we have the Browns, and we have the Colts. Those are very easy winnable games. I want to say 2 of those are at home. So if we go on that puts us at 9-5. That puts us in pretty good shot with the remaining game left over with Cincinnati and Kansas City.
Yeah, Hoffy. So 9-5 seems kind of crazy, right? I mean, can they go on a little stretch here, I guess? Little streak?
I mean, yeah, but I think the Buck curse is real, and I think they'll get away with it this week. If I think they're playing the Raiders this week, they'll get the dub there. But after that, I don't know the name or the artist, but it's free falling from there.
Yeah, let's just call it Aerosmith because we're all free falling at the end of the day. But Tom, whatever. But Denver Broncos do have a fairly favorable schedule moving forward. They do play the Raiders, Broncos, and Colts the next 3 weeks. But then the last 3 weeks are pretty tough at LA versus the Chargers, at Cincinnati. You can say what you want about the Bengals. They're still a pretty good team. And then the end of the season with the Kansas City Chiefs. That could potentially be for the division come week 18. But coming up at number 10, I do have the Denver Broncos. And let's see what the people are saying. My man, Jim Powell, says they got a great value, Justin Herbert. Mark, that is your boy. Bo Nix. Is he a great value, Justin Herbert?
Justin Herbert? Who are we talking about? Bo Nix or Justin Herbert? Which one are we talking about?
Talk about your team, Mr. Bo Nix. Great value, Justin Herbert.
I'm not going to say he's great value. I think he's pretty good, man. I think he's shown out with most of these rookies. Everybody has Jaden Daniels going to be like the rookie of the year, but I don't know if anybody knows this, but Cliff Kingsbury, he does this thing where he starts really good off in the season, and then his teams they fail towards the end of the season. So I see that coming up for Jaden Daniels. It's already starting to happen. Last week, Jaden Daniels didn't look as great. So I kind of see that coming up, and I see us doing well and Bo Nix getting better as the season goes on.
Right. And then John calmed in and said that they should be higher. Mark, he wants to see them at number 7. They should be higher. 7's a little generous. 7 is a little generous. Hell, 10's a little generous, right? Hoffy, you said, John, you must be high as hell. Number 7? Really?
He's just trying to pump up his Raiders for when they, they choked this week. He can say they lost to the number 7 ranked, Broncos instead of the number 10 ranked Broncos.
Right. Sure. It is what it is. But guys, coming in at number 10, I do have the mighty Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos coming in at number 10. Then coming in at number 9. This is a team that I've been kind of hard on the last few weeks. This is a team that, you know what? Earlier today, I know Laura wasn't here today, but I said it would not shock me one bit if they do go on a 7-game losing streak and end the season at 8-9. This is the Minnesota Vikings. I do have the Minnesota Vikings moving up in this week's power rankings to number 9 because they are on a 3-game winning streak and they are 8-2. And by all stretches of the imagination, they should be a 12 to 13 win team toward the end of the season, battling for that number 1 spot in the NFC North and a playoff position. So coming in at number 9, we do have the Minnesota Vikings. Mark, when you see this, when you hear this, what are your initial thoughts of them moving up in the power rankings from 10 to number 9?
I'm going to say like I did last week. I think this team is fugazi. I think Sam Darnold is showing his colors. It's going to continue to show his colors. I told you their division's tough. They have division games coming up. I don't think he's going to do well. So I don't think they should even be on this top 10.
Yeah. Javi, not even a top 10 team?
I don't know about that. I mean, I could tell you 5 teams that should definitely be ranked ahead of them, but this team is 8-2. They're on a 3-game winning streak. I think we need to start to put some respect on their name. They do have a gauntlet of a schedule moving forward, but body of work says that they need to be higher than number 9. I think Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for this team, he's got his boys balling out on defense. They're the 10th ranked defense, number 1 in rushing defense, 4th in scoring, and on offense, Sam Darnold is doing exactly what you want from a, let's call it what it is, a backup quarterback. He's been managing the games, and he has this Vikings as a top 10 scoring defense. So you have a top 10 defense in scoring and a top 10 offense in scoring. That's a recipe for success in playoffs. So I do agree that this team could, going down the stretch, be a little fugazi and they could struggle, but I think right now, based off of body of work after 10 games, they got to be ranked higher than number 9.
Yeah, I mean, we can all be spoogazy all we want, but as long as we sing a good song, it is what it is at the end of the day. Mark, I understand you do not like them moving forward, but the simple fact of the matter is they are 8-2. Whether you want to admit it or not, they are 8-2 at the end of the day. But why do you not like this Minnesota Vikings team sitting at number 9?
I just don't got much confidence in them. And you were talking about the sad franchises earlier on your show, and I just think that they're one of them. They're like the Bears. They're just always sad. They've been to Super Bowls that they've never won. They're just this sad team that always makes it, but they don't. So I just see that happening to them.
Hoffy, any more thoughts before we head to the comments?
No, the NFL expert is wrong as usual, but we'll let him think that he's an expert.
We'll let him. We will let him think. But let's see what the people are saying over here in the comments. And my man Derek's in the chat. What's up, Derek? He says, "Good evening, y'all." What's up, Derek? What's up? What's up? What's up? And Jim Powell may have the comment of the day, guys. He says the Minnesota Vikings is their own trap game every week. Mark, what are your thoughts, man?
I would agree with that totally.
You will agree on that. Okay. I mean, they do play up and down to their competition. So yes, I can definitely see them getting in their own own way, self-inflicted wounds per se. And Laura says, "Why are you hating, Buck?" Listen, I'm not hating on the Minnesota Vikings, but let's just be honest. Hoffy, let's look at their schedule moving forward. They are playing a Chicago Bears team.
Yes, let's.
A Chicago Bears team that is pretty confident, right? They lost because of the refs missed a call. Let's just be honest. They should have beat the Packers last week. Then they play the Arizona Cardinals, a 6-5 Arizona Cardinals team, a Arizona Cardinals team that is playing some pretty good football right now, first place in the NFC West. And then they play the Falcons, and they play the Bears again, and then they're at Seattle. They play the Packers, and then they play the Lions to end the season. I could very well see 7-game losing streak, and I'm not trying to be hate. I'm just calling a spade a spade. It's a tough schedule, right, Hoffy?
Yeah, it's a tough schedule, but I think it's even tougher to lose 7 games in a row unless you're the Cleveland Browns or the Detroit Lions of the 90s, early 2000s. So I don't see them losing, that many games in a row. I mean, don't get me wrong, division games are tough. So even though I think the Bears are not a solid team right now, they're not playing well. That's going to be a tough game. All division games are. I mean, look at the Packers Bears game. That was a lot closer than I think it should have been if just going off of talent on paper. But division games are always tough games. So, but I don't see them losing several games in a row.
You are saying that you don't see 7 games losses in a row. However, the Las Vegas Raiders have lost 6 games in a row, like I predicted. I just want to point that out there to the people.
This
I can
is
see
week
it
7,
happening.
so they're gonna win this week.
It just said. I'm just saying. And Laura says, what more do they need to prove? I mean, we ain't perfect, but a little respect is nice. You do got a little respect. You're sitting at number 9, right? That is a little bit of respect, Mark. But Mark, you are the ones that, like, you've been, I guess, maybe the biggest advocate of why they shouldn't be in the top 10 at all. What do they need to prove to you?
Well, if they don't continue to play, like you said, like play against themselves every week, if they can have good games, and Sam Darnold, I feel like he's barely keeping them in games. Their defense is solid, so that's what keeps them mostly in games, and he just does enough, and they win the game. But now they're going to play tougher teams. I don't know. I see. You're right. They're 8-2. They have played well. Like I said, I think they're one of those teams that they just always falter. You always have confidence in them, and then they always falter. So
Yeah.
I just see them doing that.
Always waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that's why I did not have them up in my power rankings earlier in the season, because I was always expecting them to drop the other shoe. And Laura says, I hope they prove you all wrong. Laura, and for your sakes, I hope they do too.
No, don't put me in that conversation.
You are 100% in this conversation, Hoffy B, because
No. I got them much higher than number 9.
Where would you have them?
Higher than number 9, that's for damn sure. I mean, you could easily put them in the top 5, number 6.
What? What?
I would allow you to argue number 7, but any lower than 7, I think you've been hanging out with Mark in Colorado.
All right. So top 5, says Hoffy. Top 5. Laura says, I can see a L to the Seahawks and the Lions coming forward. Very, very true. Very, very true. I can see that as well. Seahawks are a sneakily good team. I'm not buying the Seahawks yet, but they're a sneakily good team. And John says, what? The refs? What are you saying, Buck? I'm saying that 4 guys ran over the center on the long snap, and you're not supposed to do that. It's just simple as that, right? It's just the rules. It's just the rules. Jim Powell says, Sam Darnold is a better golfer than QB. He's a pretty good QB with hands like mine. Sometimes,
He's a
Jim.
game manager. It's exactly what that team needs.
Sometimes. And Laura's like, I like 7. I like 7. Well,
See?
number 9's a little bit better. I'm just saying. Number 9's a little bit
like.
better. Coming in at number 8. This team is making his debut on the power rankings. This is a team that has been This is a team that has been, winning some football games. Ever since Call of Duty has come out, they have not lost a game. They're 4 games winning in a row over the Chargers, over the Dolphins, over the Bears, and versus the Jets. Usually Kyler Murray kind of falters at this time of year when Call of Duty comes out. But they're playing good football. They're top of the NFC West, sitting at 6-5, better than your 49ers, better than your Seahawks, better than the Rams. Mark, when you see the Arizona Cardinals sitting at number 8, you seem to be a little bit happy about it.
You know what? I agree with this one, man. I think Arizona has been playing really good. And like you said, Kyler Murray is playing off the chain right now. And I think it's going to keep going. I think their division is terrible. Like we were talking about a couple of power ranking episodes before, like how at the top in the division is at a 5-4 record. So that division is very winnable still. So I see them taking control and winning it.
Hoffy, you do not like the Cardinals at number 8 at all. Why?
No, how do you have a team that wasn't even in the top 10 last week, coming off of a bye, going into never mind into the top 10, you're sliding them at least 3 spots if you had them at 11 last week. I mean, yes, they've won 4 straight after starting 2-4, but who have they beat? They beat an injured Rams team. They beat a 49ers team that's still hung over from their Super Bowl loss on a last-second field goal. They beat the bipolar Chargers on a last-second field goal. The Dolphins with Tua coming back from injury, again, a last-second field goal. So Chad Ryland has definitely saved this team. I don't think it's a Kyler Murray saving grace with his Call of Duty game. This team could easily be 3-7. I think at best they're on the fringe of top 10. I don't have them in the. I think you. Jesus, Buck, come on.
Did I spell Arizona wrong? Did I do that?
No, you're good.
No,
You spelt it right. You just shouldn't be spelling it at all in the top 10. That's where you spelt it wrong.
Oh, so is that why I say how do you spell like Arizona? It has to be SUCK. But I mean, I don't see why the Arizona Cardinals should not be in the top 10, like just at all. They are a good team. They are beating playoff teams. They haven't played nobody. They haven't beaten nobody. They've beaten the Bills. Sorry, they played the Bills. They played the Lions. They played the Commanders. They played the 49ers, the Chargers, and the Dolphins. All really, really good football teams. And they weren't very healthy. It doesn't matter. It's who is on your schedule, right? I mean, the Arizona Cardinals, Hoffy, you have to give respect where respect is due. They had 12, 13 draft picks last season, and they're starting to come into their own a little bit. Hoffy, you have to love you some Marvin Harrison Jr. Kyler Murray's balling out, and James Conner is running the piss out of the ball. Stop hating. Stop being a homer.
Are we even sure Marvin Harrison is a male? I mean, those lips, he looks like those girls nowadays that are getting whatever the hell, their lips blown up to, so they can suck a good tick.
Mark, you know all about those big lips. Is he a man?
I'm not touching this one, man.
Oh man, all right.
I don't know what playoff teams you're talking about, though. I mean, they beat the Jets. They're free falling from the sky. I mean, they've run out of gas.
Right.
No pun intended. And then the Bears, they haven't known what they've been doing for the past 40-something years. I mean, I don't know.
I'm just saying that they have beaten some good teams. They're kind of flying under the radar, and you are just afraid to admit that they're better than the San Francisco 49ers right now. But I do have them coming in at
you
number
must be a
8.
Call of Duty fan.
I haven't played Call of Duty since COD 4, so it's been a long time on Xbox. It's been a long time.
I think Arizona's better than Niners now too.
Yeah, hell, the Cardinals are probably going to win that division, and it's weird to say, right? Very, very weird to say. John's saying that should be number 10 over the 3 losing teams. There's not one team that's losing in the NFC West, John. They're all 500. So it is. And Laura's like, what? They're 6-5 and they're higher than the Vikings? What? Hey, when you are on a 4-game winning streak and you're beating playoff teams, slow it down, baby. Cardinals are pretty good. And John says, Kyler Murray comeback player of the year. Him or Kirk, right? Kirk Cousins.
Or Aaron Rodgers. Not.
Too soon. Jim Powell says the Cardinals season is over. Murray has to go back to the North Pole with Mark until December 26th. Meaning you're elves, guys. I mean, you're short people. You're short.
Yes. I am short. I will admit that, yes.
And John says, and you guys make fun of me for stirring the pot. No, not really. Derek says the new coach has it look impossible for the playoffs. They are a playoff team. They are a playoff team, 100%. So coming in at number 8, we do have the Arizona Cardinals. Coming in at number 7, this is a team that's getting better and better and better after each week. They made their appearance last week in the power rankings, and now they're sliding up even further, and that is to number 7, and that is the LA Chargers. The LA Chargers beat the Cincinnati Bengals in a default playoff game last Sunday night with the last-second touchdown, but they have won 4 games in a row and winners of their 5 of their last 6. They beat the Denver Broncos, they beat the Saints, Browns, Titans, and Bengals in their last 6 games. Mark, this is a team that I'm starting to buy into. This is a team that I may not want to face in the playoffs. This is a team, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, January 5th is looking a little bit more and more bleak a little bit. So what do you think about the Chargers sliding up to number 7?
You know, I hate saying anything good about anybody in the AFC West, but I will admit they have been playing good. I always say that Chargers are going to Charger, but I think with Harbaugh there now, he's kind of preventing that from happening. He knows winning football. They're the grinded out tough team. Totally like his personality. So I hate seeing them do good, but I got to give it to him.
Yeah, and they will be tested as they do play the Ravens on Monday Night Football. Hoffy, can you buy a West Coast team like the Chargers?
I don't have that much money. But no, I mean, last week I was a little skeptical on the Chargers being in your top 10. Dead horse here. Another team with a favorable schedule. But the fact that they beat the Bengals, I think, is a miracle. They gave Joe Burrows 2 chances to lead game-winning drives. They were up 24-6 going into halftime. And Justin Herbert, froze pretty fast in that second half, going like 5 of 18. I think that was like his worst stretch since like his rookie season of passing at one point. The schedule definitely gets tough from here. They welcome the Ravens to town this week, the Brother Bowl. This game, I think, will really tell us a lot about both teams, not just the Chargers, but where both teams are at. So definitely looking forward to that game. That's one that I'm definitely going to be tuning into.
Yeah, and the Chargers do have a very tough schedule. Broncos and then the Patriots and Raiders to end the season. Mark, is this a team that can make some noise in the playoffs?
I don't know about in the playoffs. They don't have enough weapons in the playoffs. Like their top receivers, Lad McConkey. It's not going to get it done against like the Chiefs or the Bills or anybody that's tough in the AFC.
So definitely no playoff winning spur of the moment type of Pittsburgh Steelers in your eyes. All right, let's see what the people have to say. Let's see what the people have to say. Yo, Gomers, the Cards last 3 of the last 4 were losers. They still won. They still won. So, guys, I want you to pen this comment right here. Do you see what John just said? 3 of the last 4 teams that they played were losers. When we talk about his Detroit Lions coming up, keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. Jim Powell says the Chargers are a whole team of Lamars. Every postseason dud. Oof. That's tough. John says wild card possible. Wild card possible. Yeah, they are almost a lock. They're at a 92% chance of making the playoffs as of right now. So definitely probably going to the playoffs. And Laura says this is the team that you definitely need to keep your eyes on. Definitely. And I don't need to be evaluated for concussion. I have had plenty of those.
I mean, going into the season though, who would have thought that 10 weeks in, 11 weeks in, we'd be talking about 3 possible teams from the AFC West being in the playoffs. So
well, and Hoffy, let's take that one step further. Who would have thought that the AFC West would have been defense dominant, right? Let's flash back 3 years ago, right? Everybody's like, oh, we got to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, we got to have a big offense. We got to have a coach. And now it's defense. Like, the AFC West is really shaken up. Like, I'm very shocked by the Broncos, very shocked by the Chargers this season, 100%. I never thought they would be above 500, let alone in the playoff race. Mark's
I think it's good coaching, man. It's good coaching. You got Peyton, you got Andy Reid, and then now you got Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
So, if the Raiders ever get it together, this might be like the best coaching division in football.
Honest, they ain't getting it together.
Well, when Mike McCarthy comes to Las Vegas and coaches the Raiders next season and they trade for Dak Prescott, maybe, just maybe, they will be relevant again. Maybe, just maybe. But
Shedeur Sanders, baby.
coming in at number 7, I do have the LA Chargers. Coming in at number 6, this team has gone down in the power rankings for the fresh loss off the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is the one and only Baltimore Ravens. I actually said on my show twice this week so far that Lamar Jackson lost his MVP bid by shitting the bed in the 4th quarter, and Derrick Henry wasn't in there. So, Mark, you see the Baltimore Ravens lose yet again by Derrick Henry not touching the ball in the 4th quarter yet again, and they move down in the power rankings, but still at number 6. What are your initial thoughts?
I agree with this one. They really haven't looked great the last few weeks. I'm not totally sure why Pittsburgh is like kryptonite to Lamar. I'm not totally sure he doesn't have a good record with them overall over his whole career. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, so I think they're still top 10, but yeah, I would drop them down. So I agree with this one.
Yeah, I believe Lamar Jackson is 1-4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers in his tenure in the NFL career. Hoffy, you seem to be kind of on the Ravens bandwagon most of the season. What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is right where they belong. I mean, turnovers were definitely a problem, but I really think it came down to field goals. Tucker missed
Yes.
2 kicks. He's got 6 this season. That's one shy of his, season career or season record. Baltimore's D finally stepped up. We saw the old Ravens D kind of show up for once, while the number one passing offense, really struggled. I think this team definitely needs to lean on running the ball, whether it's with Jackson and Henry, but they're 31st in rushing. However, when the Ravens do run to Stanley's side, they are averaging an NFL best 6.8 yards per carry. So while they're by no means in trouble, there's definitely some concerns when you're talking about the offense when it's not cooking. We've gone through it's definitely been a struggle with them against the Steelers. Lamar's not played well, so as long as you don't play them in the playoffs, then maybe they'll be all right. But let's be honest, Lamar tends to wet the bed come playoff time too. So we'll see if this is his season where he can put it all together.
So, Mark, I believe it was Monday's show that you chimed in the comments when I was boasting up the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you said you do not have faith in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was because of Russ. Now, Hoffy just boasted about the Ravens defense finally stepping up, finally shutting down like a team. Do you think the Baltimore Ravens defense actually stepped up, or the Pittsburgh Steelers offense just isn't that good?
I don't think Pittsburgh's offense is that good, but I think also Baltimore's defense has struggled all goddamn year long. And then they just lost Roquan Smith, which is like their best defensive player, the guy that has the green dot. He's really important, and so that's going to kill them. Yeah.
Hoffy, any thoughts about maybe just a division game? The Ravens defense just finally stepped up for one game, but they can't do that repeatedly.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go back on everything that we've talked about on division games being tough. So, I mean, yeah, it was a division game. So you kind of expect, and every year it doesn't matter who the better team is, whose defense is better, struggling, et cetera. They always play each other tough. But let's be honest. I don't think Pittsburgh, yes, Pittsburgh won this game, but I don't think they beat Baltimore. I think Baltimore beat themselves.
Yeah.
2 missed field goals, and that's uncharacteristic of Tucker. So they really should have come away with this win. So yes, Lamar, you got to put some blame on him. He's the captain. He's their quarterback. But you got to put some blame on the shoulders of their kicker too. So
yeah,
yes, one job.
That is true, Mark. He does have one job, and I say it week after week. You get paid to kick the ball, and don't tell me that, whatever. But yes, what the Steelers, so the Ravens lost by 2 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Ravens lost 6 points on this game, just on the field by missed field goals. So that's why I did only have them dropping down 2 spots instead of dropping more. So they are sitting at number 6. Let's see what the people are saying about the Baltimore Ravens being at number 6. Let's see here. Raiders solid playoff bid. What are you guys talking about? No way, Jose. Goff MVP all day. That is false. It's Saquon Barkley and or Josh Allen. And Derek says, did the Baltimore Ravens play the Chargers? They played this weekend, or this Monday Night Football, right, guys? So they play week 12. So John says the Pittsburgh Steelers should worry about all the AFC. Russ is finding his groove. What?
Yeah, right.
I don't know what he's saying.
It's been how many years since he left Seattle? He hasn't found his groove. He's not finding his groove. But that said, Buck, we've gone through your 10 to 6, the bottom 5 of your power rankings, and there's been no mention of the Redskins, the Texans, the Packers, all teams that I think could have been ahead of those 7 through 10 teams. So I'm really starting to question these power rankings. Are you sure You don't need to go into the blue tent for medical evaluation.
I am pretty sure that I do not need to go into the blue tent because my power rankings are pretty solid. And speaking of pretty solid,
You either
internet,
let Trip or River do these power rankings.
it was definitely River. He's a smart one out of all of us. But speaking of solid teams, coming in at number 5, a team that has won 5 games in a row, a team that I think can be a Super Bowl caliber team, a team that is unchanged from last week despite beating a higher team, and that is coming in at number 5. That is the Pittsburgh freaking Steelers. Russell Wilson still playing like a top 10 quarterback that he is. He was a top 10 quarterback stat-wise last year, Mark, even though he sucks. But Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers coming in at number 5. What are your thoughts about that?
Like you said, they have won a bunch of games in a row, but we just said before you even brought them up that their offense isn't great. I just think that he's handcuffed, and the reason they're doing that is because they don't want him to do a whole lot. He can only do so much things. He's a limited quarterback. He's the type of quarterback that needs a good run game, a good defense, and he needs guys that he can throw the deep ball to because that's what he does best. He throws the deep ball well. So that's what Steelers did. They're accommodating to all of those things for them to succeed. And then they have all of those things. Najee Harris, good run game, with Jaylen Warren. And then their defense is solid, TJ Watt and every other guy they have that's solid on that team. So he's in the perfect place. Honestly, I hate seeing him do well. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and they still had yet really incorporate Mike Williams into that offense yet. He had the game-winning touchdown catch a few weeks ago. He's been kind of quiet the last few weeks. Hoffy, what are your thoughts about Steelers coming in at number 5?
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 other teams that have, if not the same loss record as far as 2 losses or less. So, I mean, I think of those teams, yeah, they belong at 5. They're 8-2, 2 wins in a row against real solid teams. But their 2 losses are also to the Cowgirls and the Colts. Just this season, there's been 4 games where a team has won the game without scoring a touchdown. 2 of those belong to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Boswell.
Defense wins championships, but they definitely need to put the ball in the end zone. They can't rely on Boswell to win them games in the playoffs, only kicking, field goals.
Mark, you are a football connoisseur, right? You love and eat and dream football. 2000 Baltimore Ravens went 9 weeks without scoring a touchdown. 9 weeks. The Pittsburgh Steelers have only gone two games. I think the Steelers are going to be okay in the playoffs, right? Are you scared of the playoffs if you were a team playing the Pittsburgh Steelers?
No, I'd welcome that, to be honest with you. So, if my Broncos get the 7 seed, I hope that they're in the same enough seed when we play them. I'd be totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm. 2nd seed is a big task, but I think the Denver Broncos will be a 7th seed, so they'll probably end up playing the Buffalo Bills and or Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately, in that first round, and that's a no-brainer, let's just be honest.
That's an easy dub for the home team.
Easy dub. But coming at number 5, we do have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's see what the people are saying. My man Judas Howard's in the chat. He says the Pittsburgh is in a real good spot at number 5. They are. They are pretty good. And John People says Pittsburgh wild card versus Denver. Denver loses and advances.
Nice. I like that.
What? Pittsburgh wild card versus Denver loses. Denver advances.
Yeah,
So Denver loses, but Denver's going to advance.
Did you mean Pittsburgh loses?
Yeah, I think you meant the Pittsburgh Steelers loses. Derek says, gotta worry about an old race and like an old horse on his last lap. Yeah, win one for the Gipper. Look at Jerome Bennis. What year did the Steelers win the Super Bowl? 2004, 2005? Win one for the Gipper, right? Why not? Laura says, I agree with this spot. Steelers have been kind of a talk here lately. They have, because they're a good team. When you win 4 or 5 games in a row, you are one of the best teams in the NFL. You are going to get some airtime. John says the 2000 Ravens arguably had a top 3 defense of all time in the NFL. They did.
Yeah, they were giving up less than 10 points a game?
Yep, they did. Steelers only giving up 14 points per game. So they're up there. And they're only getting better. Jim Powell says Steelers are an emotional CTE team. Too soon. Now, this next team is going to raise some controversy. This next team is going to raise some eyebrows. This next team has scored 40 points 4 times this season, Mark. This next team is on a 8-game winning streak. However, I am dropping them in this week's power rankings because I do not like the way they're playing. I do not like their injuries that are piling up. I do not like the two-headed monster that they have as MVP in the backfield, and that is coming in at number 4, and that is the Detroit Lions. Yes, the Detroit Lions have been playing good football. Yes, they were at number 2 last week, but I dropped them down because of the simple fact that their defense is getting injured. The linebacker, Alex Alonso or something like that. Yeah, he is out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken arm. That is the heart and soul of that defense since Hutchinson has gone down. So with that being said, you have to move them down in the power rankings. And to say that a team is not playing anybody, the Detroit Lions have played the Jaguars, they play the Titans, they play the Cowboys, they play the Rams. Very, very easy teams. Mark, Detroit Lions are going down. Number 4, what do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I agree with this one. Like, I think you're correct about them not playing the greatest, but even when they're not playing the greatest, they're still winning and doing it well. And I don't know how you like would knock them for that. We always talk about like they haven't played anybody, but you play who's in front of you, and they've pretty much beaten everybody in front of them pretty well. And I just think that they should be either 1, 2, or 3.
They should be, but they're not. Hoffy, what are your thoughts?
Buck. You said if you win like 4 in a row, you're like the best team. You just said that about the Steelers. These guys have won 8 games in a row. Their point differential through 10 games this season is a plus 159. They had 9 offense. Yes, they beat the Jaguars. They're not a good team, but in their 9 offensive drives, the Jaguars put up 645 total yards, 449 in the air, 196, on the ground. 8.5 yards per play, averaging 71 yards per drive. They gave up 170 yards total. The Panthers, who are ranked 32nd, give up 280 yards a game. The Patriots give up in the air 129 yards a game. They only gave up, they gave up 165 a game. And the Lions only gave up 129. The Raiders are, allowing, 75 yards on the ground or whatever. And they only allowed 41. So I don't know where you put, the Lions at number 4. I guess you could have them at number 2, and you could put the Bills at number 1 after beating the top dog, but I don't see how you can drop the Lions based off of based off of injuries. This team is, I think one of the hottest teams in the league, regardless of who they're playing. Good teams, bad teams, they're still putting up points. Just look at the point differential. So I'm really wondering if you need to be seen for CTE, buddy.
So you guys are saying that you cannot base a team's potential off of injuries. How can you not base a team's potential off of injuries?
We're not basing the power rankings off of the future. We're basing them off of the body of work.
No, I'm basing it off of what I project they're going to be the following week, the following 2 weeks, the following 3 weeks. And I think the Detroit Lions are going to come back down. Their defense is shattered. They've lost Hutch. They've lost their linebacker, Alex. Their secondary is getting a little weak. When you don't have a pass rush, the secondary gets exposed. The secondary has 2 good safeties, and that's about it. The rest of the secondary, not very good. Then you lose your top linebacker. You've lost your top defensive end. Super Bowl is looking more and more bleak each and every day, and you have to move them down to number 4. And I understand that people say, oh, they should be number 1. They're the best team. They're the hottest team, yada, yada, yada. But they're putting up decent numbers against bad teams. When they played a decent team, it took the other team, the Houston Texans, to literally give them the game back on the platter for them to survive. Mark, try to convince me that they should be higher.
Like I was saying, dude, they put 50 burger on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know you said that they only played Jacksonville, but they also put a 50 burger on them. Like I was saying, I know you're going off of what's going to happen. They have had injuries, but who's to say that they can't overcome those injuries, which they've done, Dan Campbell was the type of coach that he will get those guys ready to go with whoever that he has. I'm a firm believer in this team, and I think they should be at least 1, 2, or 3. Like this is your ranking, so but I think they should be. They should definitely not be 4.
I mean, you could disagree. That is why I have you, is to try to convince me that they should be higher, and I have yet to hear anything of why they should be higher. Hoffy, besides all those, go ahead.
Trying to explain to you why you're wrong would be trying to explain to Tua that he should retire.
I mean, if you want to talk about Tua, let's talk about Chris Olave and the receiver for the Giants. They have more concussions than Tua does. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I can't get it out. My bad. But I do have the Detroit Lions coming in at number 4. Let me put my glasses back on so I can see what the people are saying. And people are mad. Hoffy, people are mad. They are upset. They said
have every right to be mad. You're dead wrong.
Laura said, Buck, put down the man juice. Put down the man juice and let's have a conversation. And John says, good night, y'all. Shake my damn head, Buck. I do not agree. Laura says, Buck, did you fall down and bump your head? It would not be the first time I have bumped my head.
I'm telling you, you're going to be evaluated for concussion, bro.
And then Jonas Howard says the Detroit Lions should be number 1. Where do you guys think they... So you guys do not think that they should be 4, which your opinion is valid. But Mark, where would you have them?
I'd have at least 1 or 2.
1 or 2. Why?
Because like I was saying, like every team that they've faced, they've dominated them, or like the point differential in all their games has been definitely one-sided, and they've done that to every team in front of them. Granted, they've lost some games. Hasn't been very many. I know you're going to go off injuries. Like I just think that they're the team that's going to overcome those injuries and still be good.
They are a team that definitely can. Hoffy, you do not agree with number 4 either. Where you think they should be?
I mean, I think they need to be number 2 or I have them at number 1, but worst case scenario, number 2. So, I'm starting to, we all know two of the teams that will belong in this, these next 3 picks, but I don't know who the hell you could have in front of the Lions at number 3 if you don't have, the Chiefs, the Chiefs and the Bills belong in there, but who the hell can you put in front of the Lions? The Lions need to be in front of the Chiefs. They just lost. The Lions beat the Chiefs last time they faced each other, provided last year, but they're winners of 8 straight. They have, they're tied for the best record in the NFL, so I think they have to be at number 1.
I mean, I definitely see your valid point there. Jim Powell, Mr. Pigskin Pundit himself, the CEO of the Pigskin Pundit, says Mark is right. Well, that sounded weird coming out of Jim's mouth. Like he said, Mark is right. Chiefs been warming their way through this year, but I bet they're number 2. We'll see. John says, how in the total F are they dropped to 3, 40 piece and 3 50 pieces? No, they number 4, dude. They are number 4. They are. And Derek said, I've been hearing this all year long. Next man up, dude. Next man up, dude. And you know what, Derek? You are right. It is the next man up. But the Lions are running out of men. They don't have any men that can fill those spots like anymore. I'm just saying. Evans in the chat says, let's go, Royals. I'm from Kansas City. Me too, Evan. What's up, man? What's up? Laura says, even being as broken as the Lions are, they're still putting up numbers and holding teams in check. Because they're not playing anybody, Laura. They're not playing anybody. The one team they played decent, they damn near, they had to they gave it away. The Texans were like, no, you take it. And they're like, I don't want it. No, you take it. They were fighting to who was going to lose that game. Like, I want to lose it more. No, I want to lose it more. Whatever. But it is what it is. Jonas Howard says, but Detroit still got top offense. Who can keep up with their scoring? Houston having a big problem scoring in the second half. It's not all about scoring, Jonas. It's not all about offense. It's all about defense. Their defense is ranked 19th. Let's just say that. Jonas said Detroit shall beat Buffalo and Philadelphia in the upcoming weeks. We will see. The Detroit Lions coming in at number 4 do have a very, very big test ahead of them in 2 weeks when they do play the Buffalo Bills. And coming in at number 3.
No, they're not winning that game.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very good game, I think, either way around. But coming in at number 3 is a team that has been deemed one of the hottest teams in the NFL. A team that Mark D is swinging from their nuts and saying, ooh, I love me this team. This team has not won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row. They have won 6 games in a row, and they dethroned the Super Bowl champions. Unchanged from last week, coming at number 3 are the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are winners over the Jets, Titans, Seahawks, Dolphins, Colts, and Chiefs since the 2-game losing streak versus the Ravens and Texans. Mark, they are unchanged from last week. What do you think about the Buffalo Bills staying at number 3 after they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, reigning Super Bowl champions?
Okay, so like we talked off air, and like I said, I saved it for the show. But Buffalo should be I think they should be number 1 on this list. Kansas City lost to them. They've been rolling every other team, just like Detroit has. I just think Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level. They're I think this is the year. I know we've talked off air, and you think I'm wrong. You think your Chiefs are gonna usurp Allen again in the playoffs. I don't think so. I think this is the year where all that changes. I think Josh Allen is finally going to get over the hump this year. He's going to beat Kansas City, or he's going to beat Lamar, whatever he has to do to get to the Super Bowl.
So he's saying Buffalo Bills Super Bowl, Hoffy, but I have them sitting at number 3 despite being the Kansas City Chiefs last Sunday afternoon. What do you think?
I think you need to wear one of these permanently. Jesus, Buck. Come on. How can you seriously have the Chiefs in front of the Bills? Unless you drop them out of your top 10, and then you might need 2 helmets at that point. But I mean, the Bills put up a 30-piece on the Chiefs. That hasn't been done by any of the Chiefs' opponents in 2 years now. And they did it without Dalton Kincaid or Keon Coleman. Buffalo is off to the best start since 1992, and they're going into their bye, having taken down the defending Super Bowl champs. I think they're fighting for that number 1 seed with the Chiefs. They're 1 game back with the tiebreaker. Despite the injuries that the Bills do have on their team, McDermott has impressively coached the Bills to a 9-2 start. So I don't know how you have them at number 3 or even have them behind the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, do you have the Chiefs at number 1? So who's at number 2? I mean, who's better than the Bills or the Lions? Right now, besides the Chiefs, and even that's wrong. So I don't know, Buck. I like you, but I don't know that I can love you like a brother or fuck you like a mother or anything.
Fuck you like a sister. Mark, your Buffalo Bills. I'm putting your Buffalo Bills on there. You've been a big Josh Allen advocate, and
I have.
Truth be told, the Buffalo Bills would probably be a 2-win team without Josh Allen. I understand I have them at 3. You guys do not agree. But let me justify why that I have them at number 3. It's because they are a bad game away. They are a slip up to the 49ers. They're a slip up to the Rams or the Lions. Or they play the Patriots twice in 3 weeks. They are a bad game away from everybody saying, "Ha, I told you so," right? "Ha, I told you so." So how can you legitimately say, "Ha, I told you so" to a number 1 seed? To a number 1 power team? That's why I have them at number 3.
But see, that's where you're wrong, Buck. This is I know you say that they're only winning because of Josh Allen, but that's not the case. This year, they're winning despite him. They have a good run game with James Cook. Their defense is solid. Josh Allen just has to be Josh Allen. He doesn't have to put on the superhero cape anymore. All he has to do is enough for them to win, and they will win, just like they did against Kansas City last week.
So was him on 4th and 2 scoring the touchdown, not putting on the Superman cape?
Well, he put it on when he needs it, and so he needed it at that moment. But I'm just saying, this year you haven't seen that a whole lot.
Okay, I mean, we'll see. So number 3, I do have the Buffalo Bills. Coming in at number 2 is a team that has been finding ways to win week after week after week. A team that has been finding ways to piss off the world week after week after week. And that is the one and only the Kansas City Chiefs. Put some respect on their name. They're still 9-1 on the season, coming in at number 2. Now, I know everybody's mad. The Buffalo Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They should be higher, right? Well, guess what? The Baltimore Ravens selected the Buffalo Bills back in week number 4, week number 5. but we still have the Baltimore Ravens sitting at number 6. I do have the Kansas City Chiefs sitting at number 2 because they have yet to play like a complete football game. They have yet to play a good football game. They played a vanilla defense, a vanilla offense versus the Buffalo Bills, and they damn near beat them. It took Superman Josh Allen to beat the Kansas City Chiefs versus the vanilla defense and vanilla offense. Mark, you're shaking your head. You are in disgust. You are in disbelief, but the Kansas City Chiefs are at number 2. What are your thoughts?
I kind of knew you were gonna do this. I'm shaking my head like, yep, I knew you were gonna pick this. They lost to Buffalo and they're higher than them on the list. I don't buy it. I just don't buy that.
You just don't buy it. Hoffy, you agree with me.
No, this is the definition of a homer pick right here. And to be honest, the most difficult thing to bring up or difficult part to watch in Sunday's game was, in the defeat against the Buffalo Bills is that, their big dogs did not come to play and definitely came up short. Mahomes threw 2 tough picks. Travis Kelce was held in check. DeAndre Hopkins was quiet, and the vaunted defense did not perform up to its, typical standard that we've expected them to play these past 2 years. So despite the vanilla offense defense comment, I just, both teams were, you had the Chiefs at 1 last week, the Bills at 3. They go head to head. Bills win. I don't know how you have it number 1. Is my real question, I guess. I don't know, Buck.
Mark, you are agreeing with like Coffee. What are you agreeing about?
I was agreeing what he was saying, that this is a homer pick and that we knew you were gonna pick them even though they lost to Buffalo.
Hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. So apparently I do not have my number 1 all pick up here, so we gotta go solo. We gotta go the solo frame, and coming in number 1 is a team that Mark D has been riding on for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks here. Ever since we've been doing power rankings with y'all, I gotta put the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at number 1. Fresh off of a nice big win, I say the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the NFL. This is a team that has won, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Now, they haven't played nobody, but they beat a division team in the New York Giants on the road. A very, very good defense. Let's just be honest. They beat a Cincinnati Bengals team, a Bengals team that can score at will. It seems like their defense isn't great, but the Philadelphia Eagles held them in check 37-17. Then they beat down the Cowboys, and then they beat a division foe in the Washington Commanders that everybody was on their nuts, hanging 100% with the Philadelphia Eagles. Mark, I do have the Philadelphia Eagles coming in at number 1, and this week's power rankings moving way up in the polls from 4 to number 1. What are your first initial thoughts?
I got to admit, I'm a little surprised that you would put them number 1. They have been playing great. To be honest, I was skeptical about Nick Sirianni in the beginning, especially at the end of last season, how they just kind of fell apart. Yep. Losing to Tampa in the first round, and then this year kind of starting off the same way, but then they've totally flipped the script, and now they're like playing really well. So now their new coordinators, Fangio and Max, I forget the guy's name, the guy they got from Dallas,
Kellen Moore.
They're playing Kellen Moore. Yeah, they're coming into their own. I didn't think Philly was ever going to get over letting go of Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen. Those guys are really good coaches, but they are, and they're overcoming that. I don't necessarily think I would put them at 1, but maybe 3 or 4.
Hoffy, you just got from Philadelphia over election time, and you said how great you love the city and how awesome the Philadelphia Eagles fans were and how great that NFL team was. I finally put them up at number 1 to make you happy, and you seem disgusted. You seem upset.
You might make my second wife might be happy, and I'll call her after the show and see how happy she is. But I mean, we last week you had them at number 6, and you have discussed the Commanders, who were number 8 last week. Yeah, the Commander Skins last week at number 8. You had the Eagles at number 6. You again have talked about how this Commanders team is old as balls, and they're not that good. They're overrated, and they beat the number 8 team and they jump to number 1. But the number 3 team beats the number 1 team and they stand pat. So you gotta make some sense of your logic here. I mean, yes, the Eagles mauled the Commanders on both lines of scrimmage. That's definitely a sign of a playoff team. Philly definitely looks like a different, far more dangerous team than last year's Eagles, who started 10-1. And before they revealed that they were fool's gold. But this Georgia defense is playing real well. The offense seems to start slow and they're boiling by the end of the game. But I just don't, I could see them at number 3 in front of Kansas City, or at 4 in front of, just behind Kansas City. But I still think the Lions and the Bills got to be your top 2 dogs. And then you can go with, either the Eagles or the Chiefs. But hey, make some sense of this, because I can't.
So I will make sense of it, right? Because my man Jim says we sold off them bitches after week 3. Now they're at number 1. Make it make sense. Because, Jim, the NFL is a very fluid. NFL from week to week to week. You can be the worst team in the NFL. You play 2 good games, bada bing, bada boom. You are clicking. You are to the moon, baby, right? Week 4, when the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we thought all hope was lost. We thought Nick Sirianni was going to get fired. We thought Jalen Hurts was going to get benched. We thought Saquon was just Saquon, old Saquon at Giants, dropping balls, whatever. That bye week, they had a kumbaya moment, and then they come out and they beat the Cleveland Browns. And then they come out the following week and they beat the highly underrated, I think, New York Football Giants. Then they beat the Bengals, Jaguars, Cowboys, and Commanders. As I do think the Commanders are overhyped, I don't think they're overrated. I think they're overhyped, and they are old. They're still a good defense. They're still a good team. They are still a team that's going to go to the playoffs and potentially win a playoff game when they play the Atlanta Falcons in the opening round. You cannot sleep of what on the Philadelphia Eagles, what they are doing. When you look at the team, they're ranked 4th in offense right now, right? What are the Detroit Lions ranked at? Number 7. Look at the defense. The defense is ranked 1st. What is the next NFC team closest to them? It's the San Francisco 49ers at number 12. Then you have to go down the list even more, all the way down to 14, 15. Then you see the Detroit Lions. That is why I have the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at number 1 over the Lions, over the Bills, because they are a complete team. They have a top 5 offense and they have a top 5 defense, and it's showing week in and week out. That is why they are a top team, guys. And I don't understand how you guys can look past these numbers. Mr. Stathoffer here, right? Always looking at stats. You have you have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. How can that not be the number 1 team in the NFL, Hoffy?
You're telling me that the Eagles are a top 5 offense and defense?
Yes, they are.
I don't know about that, Buck.
Let me pull it up for you. We'll go Google search NFL offensive rankings. This goes to ESPN.com/NFL/stats/team, right? Now, sorry, they dropped down to number 5 on the offense. Number 1, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 2, San Francisco 49ers. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers. Number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 5, the Detroit Lions on the offensive side of the ball. On the defense, we click on the defensive tab. Number 1, Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, Tennessee Titans. Number 3, Denver Broncos. Number 4, Houston Texans. Number 5, Kansas City Chiefs. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense. Better than the Lions, better than the Bills, better than the Kansas City Chiefs. They are them. The Philadelphia Eagles are them.
Yeah, if we're talking stats as far as yards per game and such, but if we're going to talk about, just body of work and what they're doing against the teams, I mean, offensively, they're not a, top 5 scoring team. I mean, they're just outside of the top 5, but I mean, I don't know. They're a good team. They belong, 3 or 4. I just don't see them being better than the Detroit Lions or even the Buffalo Bills, who, just beat your number 1 team from last week. So again, the number 6 team beats the number 8 team and they jump 6 spots. The number 3 team beats number 1 and they stand pat.
Well, let's play devil's advocate here. Week 12 of the NFL season is happening right now, right? Mark, neutral field, head-to-head, week number 12. Buffalo Bills take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Who are you taking?
Buffalo.
That's just a homer pick. Hoffy,
I mean, they're in my team's division, the AFC East. So obviously, I can't, you know, can't root for the Bills,
don't
but
try to waffle around saying I have 15 divisions and 16 teams that I like. Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, neutral field. Who wins?
Buffalo.
Whatever. You guys are both wrong. It is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs come out there with not a vanilla defense, not a vanilla offense. They're waxing the Buffalo Bills' ass. Let's just be honest. Neutral field.
They can't play each other in the Super Bowl. So we're talking neutral field, not the Super Bowl where Patrick Mahomes just, unless it's Tom Brady, he wins.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
picking the
Let's
Bills.
do playoffs. Buffalo Bills get the first overall seed. Kansas City Chiefs are second. AFC Championship game. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen at Buffalo, New York. Who are you taking, Mark?
I'm taking Buffalo. I told you this is the year. This is Josh Allen's year, man.
Hoffy, you know better than to root against Patrick Mahomes or pick
I do,
against
but
him.
this offense this year is different. I don't think that this Kansas City Chiefs offense is clicking yet. I mean, and again, hey, we have not reached Christmas. We all know what happened after last year's Christmas.
Right.
They got, beat by the Raiders. So, yeah, I mean, I warrant the availability of changing this pick. But as of right now, I don't think that this offense is clicking on the cylinders, and I don't know that they're going to. They're going for a three-peat, and they're going to get every team's
Not
best
happening.
shot every single week. At some point, they're going to get tired. They're going to get, and this week was that week. But
Yeah, and next week's that
I
week
don't
too.
know that they have the offense to do it this year.
So let's say NFC Championship game. Philadelphia Eagles at home. Philadelphia Eagles versus Detroit Lions. Mark, who are you taking?
I'm taking Detroit.
Interesting.
My pick at the beginning of the year was Detroit and Buffalo, and I'm still going with it. I still think it's going to happen.
Okay. Javi?
I got to agree with Mark. Right now I'm taking Detroit.
Y'all killing me. Y'all killing me.
Walk off set. You're gonna walk off set and finally go find that blue tent to get your CTE scan.
I mean, I got my helmet there. I will put it on as
Yes, you
soon
need
as
to be checked, Buck. You need to
Whatever.
be checked, man.
Your wife's a nurse, right?
Yeah, she is.
Cindy, come check your husband.
Come check your boy. Come check your boy. But guys, those are my power rankings for today. I do have, just to recap, we do have the Denver Broncos coming at number 10. You're welcome, Mark. Coming at number 9, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Number 8, we have the Arizona Cardinals making their debut. Number 7, we have the LA Chargers moving on up. Number 6, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Number 5, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4, the Detroit Lions. The number 3 team are the Buffalo Bills. The number 2 team, the Kansas City Chiefs. And number 1, we do have the Philadelphia Eagles. Those are my power rankings, and I'm sticking to them. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Check us out Saturday for the weekly preview.
Boo. Boo, says Jim. Booze. Junius Howard says Detroit Lions have scored 77 more points than Philly has allowed less, 177-279. I don't know. Dominic McDonald says Lions number 1 with the cat picture. That explains everything. Lions are number 3. I'm kidding. But guys, we are out. Live, raw, uncut NFL talk. Until next time, later. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of feel as soon as we were process elimination, I kind of knew it was gonna be Philly. As soon as you got to KCB in 2, I was like, oh, he's gonna put Philly number 1 because I was like, they gotta be on the list.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I'm surprised.
I dropped the Detroit Lions down because of the injuries. Like honestly, I am worried about their injuries.
But what about Darius Smith though? That's not gonna help them.
That is going to help
No.
them. But when you lose their leading linebacker, when you lose your signal caller at linebacker for 6 to 8 weeks, and you've already lost 2 other linebackers as is, that is
Ravens
tough.
could be dealing with that too.
Yeah, they are. But that's it, guys.
Yeah, I think Roquan Smith is going to be a bigger loss
Impact.
than
Oh,
yeah. bigger
What did they
impact.
say was wrong? I know he left the game early, but is he out for a extended period of time?
I want to say a hamstring, but I could be wrong. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, I just pulled it up and all it says is questionable. Yep,
But
it's a hamstring injury. Yep.
hamstring. And those things are weird, dude. They could linger. He can come back next week. You never know.
Yeah, I mean Juju was at what for 5 weeks with the hamstring injury. So yeah.
Fucking Juju can't do shit for the fucking Patriots. Goes to Kansas City and looks like a fucking world beater again.
I thought that guy had like a knee that like wouldn't be medically cleared or some shit. Is that like not true? They're just like, yeah, we'll pass you and you can come to Kansas City. Is that what happened?
I mean it's all what the Chiefs say, right? I mean like one
Exactly.
one team can pass you and like one team can't. So
That's what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
I mean it's kind of like how bad do we want you, right? Like how bad do we want you?
And they were desperate. So yeah,
we
that
were
makes
desperate.
sense.
We were very desperate. So what do you guys think of the overlay? Is it good?
I think it's cool.
Is it good? All right. I mean, I haven't obviously watched it back yet, but I'll see how it looks on a phone and whatnot, and see how it goes from there. So
I was watching it live from the Facebook feed. It looks good. I
Is it?
thought it looked good.
okay, Coffee, does it look good?
I thought so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have it on my just us on my computer. So normally I do put the Facebook, thing up, but I did not tonight.
Gotcha. All right. Well, guys,
So pissed off that my fucking company lost.